Undead Frontier series. Subseries Ember Path. Book 1 First Raid. Chapter 2 Glossary. Downwind in the direction the wind is blowing from you, so smell goes away. Example, always stay downwind. Decay, the horrible smell of dead things that are rotting. Example, zombies smell rotten, old meat, mud, decay. Temple, the side of your head between eye and ear. Example, hit the temple. Fast and calm. Stash, secret place where things are hidden. Example is the stash. Old house, basement. Floorboards, long wooden boards that make the floor. Example, far corner under the floorboards. Shimmered, shook with hot air and looked wavy. Example, the air shimmered with heat. Chapter 2. Ember woke up early before the others. The lamps were still burning weakly, and the air smelled of metal and smoke. She took her best clothes, the same she had worn on the stage, now dusty and wrinkled. She cleaned them as well as she could, using a small piece of cloth. Then she poured the last drops of water from a tin cup and wiped her face and neck. The water was warm and tasted like rust. She looked at herself in a small, cracked mirror. Her red hair was tangled, but she brushed it carefully with her fingers. For a short moment, she almost looked like the woman she used to be, before hunger, before fear. Then she stood up, tied her boots, and stepped outside. The morning was cold and dry. Wind carried dust through the empty street. Ember walked slowly between the metal houses. The settlement was waking up, people coughing, dogs barking, doors opening. She stopped near the mechanic's shed. A bald man was fixing an engine, his hands black with grease. "Any work today? May I help you?" Ember asked softly. He didn't look up. "No, try the canteen. Maybe they need someone to clean." She nodded and moved on. The ground under her boots was cracked and full of sharp metal pieces. The canteen was almost empty. 2 old women sat by the wall, drinking weak tea. Behind the counter, a woman with a long scar over her mouth was washing dishes. Ember waited, then said, "Do you need help here? Anything I can do for you?" The woman stopped for a moment, her eyes tired. "Help? With what? We have no food to serve, girl." She pointed at the empty shelves. "Come back when there's something to sell." Ember thanked her quietly and walked out. The air smelled of burned oil. Her stomach hurt. She went to the greenhouse behind the saloon. Most of the glass was broken, a few dry plants hung like brown paper. A young man in a torn shirt was sitting nearby, smoking. "Is anyone working here? Do you need some hands?" Ember asked. He laughed. "Work? The crops are dead. The pump broke again. Unless you can make rain, there's nothing to do." Ember didn't answer. She looked at the yellow plants, dry and bent. She felt the same, bent, tired, without life. She kept walking. She spoke to the guards, to a trader, even to the old woman who cleaned the lamps. Every answer was the same. No work. No food. Nothing left. By noon, her throat burned and her feet were heavy. She found a place near the broken water tank and sat down. The metal was hot under her. For a long time, she just looked at her hands, thin, dusty, trembling slightly. Around her, the settlement made low sounds, a hammer, a cough, a dog barking somewhere far. There was nothing left to ask for. The sun stood high when Zed found her. He came slowly from behind the water tank, lining on his stick. His coat was torn, his face half in shadow. The air shimmered with heat. "You've been sitting here long, Em," he said. His voice was rough but not unkind. Ember looked up. "There's no work. No one needs help." Zed nodded. "No one needs anything, it seems." But that doesn't mean we stop moving. He sat down beside her. The metal cracked under his weight. For a moment, they were both silent. You're not as weak as you think, Zed said finally. You danced last night until you almost fell. That takes strength. And I've seen how you move, quick, light, quiet. Ember smiled a little. Dancing isn't fighting. Maybe not, Zed said, but it's not far from it. You know balance, rhythm. You can control your body. That's more than most people here. Ember looked away. It doesn't matter. I can't survive out there. Zed gave a short laugh. Out there? You think the wasteland eats only the weak. It eats the slow, the careless. But you're fast. The dead won't catch you. Raiders won't even see you if you move smart. She shook her head. You make it sound easy. It's not easy, he said, but it's simple. You follow what I tell you. You take what I give you. You keep your eyes open. You'll come back safe. She was quiet again. The hot wind touched her hair, lifting a few red strands. Zed leaned closer. You want to keep sitting here, waiting for miracles? Or you want a real chance to live? Ember didn't answer. Her throat was dry. She looked at her hands, thin but strong. Zed's voice softened. You'll earn more than you ever made dancing. Enough for food, water, rent, maybe even a new dress. A month without worry. She raised her eyes to him. There was a spark there, small but real. What would I have to do? Zed smiled, showing a few missing teeth. Nothing impossible. I'll teach you. You'll go to a place in the wasteland. Take something, bring it back. Quick, clean, quiet. Her lips parted as if to say no, but no words came. You said you're not a fighter, Zed went on. Fine. You don't need to be. You're a survivor. I've seen it. The world doesn't need heroes, it needs people who still move. Ember looked at him again, longer this time. His eyes were pale and cloudy, but his voice was steady, sure. Something in it made her believe. What if I fail, she whispered. Then you'll learn, Zed said simply. But I don't think you will. The silence stretched between them. Then Ember took a slow breath and nodded. All right. I'll do it. Zed smiled, satisfied. Good. You'll need a few things. A knife, boots that don't fall apart, something to carry water. He stood up with a small grunt, leaning on his stick. Come to my place when you're ready. We'll get you prepared. Ember hesitated only a moment. Then she rose and brushed the dust from her knees. I need to get my things first, she said quietly. Zed nodded once. Of course. Take what you need. I'll wait. She walked back to her small corner in the settlement, gathering her few possessions, a worn coat, a bag with scraps, the last clean clothes she had. Each item felt heavy, not from weight, but from the feeling of leaving the life she knew. When she had everything, she slung the bag over her shoulder and stepped outside. Zed waited at the edge of the street, stick in hand, eyes calm and watchful. Ready? He asked. Ember nodded, shoulders squared. Ready. Together they started walking through the narrow street, past the burned walls and empty windows. Dust followed them like smoke. Ember did not look back. The sun was low and warm when Ember followed old Zed out of the settlement. The open field in front of them was quiet, except for the dry wind moving through broken metal and tall grass. Ember's ponytail swung lightly behind her. Her muscles felt strong, her steps balanced. Years of dancing made her body ready for movement, but this was different. This was survival. Zed watched her closely, his cloudy eyes scanning every movement. You're fast and muscular. You already know how to use your body, he said, voice rough but calm. That's why I chose you. Now I'm going to teach your mind. Ember nodded quietly. I want to learn. I want to pick up everything you show me. Good. Listen. Zed stopped in the middle of the field and tapped a patch of dirt with his stick. The first rule, smell. Zombies smell rotten, old meat, mud, decay. If you can smell it, you know they are near. Always stay downwind. If the wind changes or the smell gets stronger, you hide. Don't fight. Don't go closer. Ember frowned. Even if I think I can run past them. No, Zed said firmly. You can run only if it's safe. Your best weapon is quiet. Quiet keeps you alive. He bent down and pointed to marks on the ground. Next, watch your steps. Look at the dirt, grass, and branches. Broken sticks, fresh mud, or strange patterns can be traps, pits, wires, or old traps set by raiders. Walk carefully. Always check where you put your feet. Ember bent closer to see the ground. I think I see what you mean. I'll watch out for every trap. Good, Zed said, nodding. Next, animals. Wolves, wild dogs, maybe bigger things. Fresh tracks, bones, scratches, they tell you someone or something was here. Never go toward them. Go around. She repeated softly, smell, watch, listen, go around. Her voice was small, but it sounded stronger than before. I'll stay away from anything dangerous. Zed picked up a worn military knife from his bag. Now the last lesson here. How to fight a zombie if you have to. He demonstrated slowly, the grip, the stance, the strike. Hit the temple. Fast. Calm. One strike. The rest is useless. Panic kills you faster than them. Ember held the knife and tried the motion. Her movements were a little shaky, but Zed watched her carefully and corrected her. Better. Again. She repeated it more confidently. Good, he said. You feel it now. Your body knows. The sun set and the field grew dark. Ember's hands were tired, but her mind was sharper. She had listened, watched, and practiced. Zed's stories and warnings became part of the lesson, how he had survived, how he had seen others fail. The fear inside her felt smaller, more focused, more manageable. When they returned to his small metal hut, Zed spread a hand-drawn map on the table. Ember leaned closer, her eyes tracing the lines. I'll go over this route again in my head, she murmured. Here, Zed said, pointing to a thin trail, is the path you'll follow. First stop the old house ruins. The stairs are broken, but you can climb to the second floor. Zombies can't reach you there. It's a safe place to spend a night. Ember swallowed. Safe, really. I'll make it through, I hope. As safe as it gets, Zed said. Walk carefully. Check every step. Stay quiet. He pointed farther along the trail. Then comes the bridge. Open space. Anyone can see you. Look first. Listen first. Only move when it's clear. Fast and light. That's your rule. She nodded slowly. Fast and light. I'll stick to that rule. Her fingers hovered over the map, tracing the route. Every detail made the unknown feel smaller. And here, he tapped a small square near the end, is the stash. Old house, basement, far corner under the floorboards. Supplies, tools, ammo. Get it, close everything back, and leave. No wanderings. Ember touched the map again. I can carry out this plan. You will, Zed said. But remember, this mission is secret. Nobody can know where you go. So you knight a raisin. Go to the medic. Say you're collecting herbs for him. He will understand. He won't ask for payment. Ember exhaled. I can go along with that. Exactly. Smart girl. Zed gave a small smile, the first soft expression of the day. You're ready. Not completely, but enough. Trust your eyes, your ears, your nose. Trust yourself. He handed her a small backpack with food and water for 3 days, a fire starter, and the same military knife she had practiced with. Pack light. Move fast. Be cautious. Ember felt the weight of responsibility, but also the weight of preparation. She had learned the rules, practiced the motions, and now she had the plan. Fear was still there, but it was sharper, smaller, and clear. I'll hold on to this plan in my mind, she thought. The sky outside turned dark purple. Zed stretched his back and muttered something under his breath. Rest now. We leave early. Before sunrise. Ember lay down on her small bedroll, map in hand for a moment. Her heart was still quick, but hope had grown inside her. I'll stick with the plan, she whispered. For the first time, she believed she could face the wasteland. Zed lay down next to her. Fear keeps you alive, he said quietly. But you listen. You think. You move. That's why you'll make it. Ember closed her eyes. The concern was still there, but it was no longer paralyzing. Tomorrow she would step onto that path. And for the first time, she was ready.